I'm a rabbi.
All right. Anyway, so in Pasuk Yud Beis, in Parak Beis, it says, he says, you left your family, because, you have this chus, because you left your family, and you were chush of a family. It was, you came from royalty. Your father and mother, and the place where you were born, you came to a nation that you didn't know. And Asher lo yadat Tamal Shilsham. You didn't know it from yesterday. You never, you came to an unknown place. You joined a new nation. You left your family. You have all these chusrim. So he says, Yishalem Hashem pa'olech. Hashem should pay you back, for what you did. V'zeh maskrutech shlema, and you should have a complete payment. Me'im Hashem, from Hashem. Elokei Yisrael. Asher bas lachas tachas kanav. Whomst you came to dwell underneath his wing. So this Imre Yosha, who's the Nesivas, apparently, he asked the question. He says in the Midrash, he says, Yishalom Hashem pa'olech maskrutech shlema me'im Hashem, right? Okay, Yisrael Asher bas lachas. Hashem should give you a complete, right? So he says, maskrutech shlema amar Reb Chasa. What does it mean, the complete thing? Reb Chasa says in the Midrash, Lama Asher bas lachas. But who to me? Because this is unbelievable. Because he says, why? Does Hashem need, of course Hashem's going to pay you for it. What's he giving him a bracha like that, To explain that, Nira, Dine Kosha al Asher Omar La, he says, it's Kosh, that's what he's from. The Ma'anyan bracha hayi, what's the purpose of this bracha? Chi, Choshid Kadosh Baruch Hu Shaloi L'Shalin L'Ish K'Pa'oloi? Was he worried that he wasn't going to pay him back, her back? U'levadei maskurta shel kol echad shalei. Everybody's schar is shown. Ya'kol panim hayol aloymar tehi maskurtech kipa'ula. He says, you should be paid back according to he should have said, you should get back you should get double what you did, kfula. that would be a bracha to give it, Avol sheti shleima ein tzarach levarchasa. He didn't need to have such a bracha. Eliyash is knocked him. He says, you have to preface this to answer this. Hadamin be yavamas mitnei ma hagerim sheba olam hazeh. Why are there gerim in this world, right?
Why are they beat up?
Yeah. Why do they have difficulties? Why do they have all the surahs, right? We see that. Sometimes people come in and all of a sudden then they start to have all sorts of stuff. Because they waited to come. That's the quotes that pasuk in Yavamas. Perish Rashi. It says, because she hurried up to become a ger. In other words, there's a certain spark by Goyim, that makes them come back. In other words, they're supposed to come back. They have some neat sites, It says by Kabbalah Satira that the nations refused to take the Torah, but there were individuals in other nations that said, hey, we want to do this, So Hashem says, okay, I'm going to bring you back, and when I give you that little signal, you should act on it, But that would be more in ordinary circumstances for a guy, for a ger to become to be Megayah. He says, but when you get that little neat sight, that little spark, people can go to therapy for it. They can run away from it. They can do a Yonah type thing from it. They can run away from it. They can try to talk themselves out of it. So he says, that's what it means. They didn't hurry up. They waited till the last thing. You're going to come back one way or the other, whether it's by a gunpoint or because you're on your own volition or whatever it is. But what did she do? She rushed the process even before she got that signal, probably to some extent, because she was, it was unbelievable, Mesiras Nefesh, but she jumped on the gun. That's why. So then he uses that to explain this. Who tamua shalom? Why is it? Shalom nitin kitz for the davar. There's no measure for this davar. Amos nikra shehiyah. How much they should wait? The Amos nikra mehira. What's the definition of waiting, and what's the definition of of doing a fast? Luzenir the hine machnas shenefesh David hayamuvla berus. The zera of David was enveloped. It was like in rus. From Lot, right? That was the whole thing. But he had to come from her one way or the other. Her gerus had to happen. It would have been pulled out of her. If she didn't do it on her own, it would have been pulled out of it. Like with a chain, with like a metal chain. L'gayeres, bebitul habechir, without her bechir. In other words, whether she wanted to or not, she was going to be megayeres. V'chein kol hagerim al karchav al karchach, all goyim al karchach nitzas kedusha muvla b'soichan. They all have this special little holy spark in them. All the goyim, all the gerim. Hamamshich oisan legayer atzman. That's drawing them themselves to become. Omnam rus koidim, but with rus koidim ba hazman shel nitzutz hakedusha lotzeis before the time came. V'lo haya adayin esla kfiya me'anitzas hakedusha lotzeis meheira lotzeis, and there was no kfiya. There was no force for her to come. Right? She didn't get to that point yet. It was before that point. Mihara atzma b'bechirasa legayer atzma. She herself, on her own volition, decided to be mishamish Naomi and come with her and be Megad. Masha'en came called Gerim by the other Gerim, based on she Yisurim Boyin Aleim, the ones that have the Yisurim. Al Karchach Lava B'chirasin Gairi Atzma. The Shayha in Lava, they waited. Ad Shenitzat Kedusha Mamshichin Ba'al Karchach, until that Nitzat Kedusha forced them to be Megad. Ubebitul HaBechira, and without the Bechira. Ulazeh Ein Lahem Schar Geirus Ve'asi Shachar. So they don't have that schar, right? Well, Lezel Amar Boaz, he said, Shaper, now we understand what he says. Even though you made it fast, you came on your own. This holy spark was kind of pushing a little bit. It was starting to kind of fire up a little bit. Like it doesn't say,
Both of them contributed
right,
to
both
the
of them
fact.
contributed, right. Maskurta shleima, it should be complete. Ke'ilu nasa hakol midaita. That's what he's saying. He says, it should be like the whole thing, meaning even though there was a little bit that was gairim and you did it on your own, you should get the whole schar for the whole thing. It's not nice, right? Belishum siua machmas shemihara. For no other reason. In other words, that you did it all on your own. That's what Rochas Shaloi Nita Loiman. You can't be say Shitia Maskurtach Shleiman Koi al Ha Shama Lael V'Hugar Hagit. That was the pasuk before. You know, that whole thing. That to say, you know, you should get a schar for that, for what you did for Naomi, you know, for my aunt. It doesn't. It just the pashtus of the pasuk doesn't make sense, you know. Maskurta Shleiman Min Hashem. He's just saying, you know, it doesn't make sense for him to he's not going to give her less of a schar. That you came to dwell underneath, the fact that you came to dwell meaning that you were Magayeris, that you came to dwell under Hashem's, you know, wings. That's what you're getting the schar for that part of it, for the not just that you were nice to Naomi because you were Magayer. And that she needed a bracha for. Because min hadin she shouldn't get a complete schar because it wasn't all on her own stuff. Right? Because there was a partial help from the holy spark. And he gave her bracha. Unbelievable.